Hello class. Today's lecture is on thermodynamic cycles. Thermodynamic cycles for the thermal power plant, the coal-fired power plant. Okay, so the learning outcome for this session will be, till the end of the session we'll be able to learn the basic thermodynamic cycles for the coal-fired power plants. Remember, I'm saying it's a coal-fired power plant. So we'll be focusing mainly onto those thermodynamic cycles. So when we say thermodynamic cycle, what it means the cycle consists of the thermodynamic processes where there is a transfer of heat and work while varying the pressure, temperature and other variables. But always remember, in a thermodynamic cycle, at the end of the cycle the fluid remains to its initial state. So that is what is a thermodynamic cycle. So here a pictorial representation is shown. Your coal-fired power plant, if we are considering, so there the coal acts as a heat source, which is when burnt is used to boil the water and convert its state from liquid to vapor. Then that vapors are further utilized to do some amount of mechanical work by moving the blades of the turbine, and eventually the generator is utilized to convert that mechanical work into the electrical energy. So basically there are two types of thermodynamic cycles. One is a power cycle which produces a net power output, and second one is in heat pump cycles where the net power input is consumed. So right now we are kind of focusing on the power cycles when we are talking about the thermodynamic cycles for the coal-fired power plant. So we are basically talking about power cycles. So how these two cycles are distinguished? So basically when we draw a PV and TS diagram, PV stands for the pressure versus volume diagram and TS stands for the temperature versus entropy diagram. So we'll see it in the next slides. So when you draw those characteristics or those parameters onto the graph, then you can find out that the thermodynamic cycle is basically a closed loop cycle. So when we analyze these power cycles and heat pump cycles, so we can easily make out that power cycles are the one which follow the clockwise direction, whereas the heat pump cycle follows the anti-clockwise direction. So next, the starting with the basic thermodynamic cycle in case of thermodynamic power plant is the Rankine one. So Rankine cycle, it is named onto the scientist name who has first developed this Rankine cycle. So we won't go with that much detail. Here we are focusing mainly onto the theoretic approach of this Rankine cycle, of these thermodynamic cycles, how they basically work. So the Rankine cycle is the basic cycle which is mostly used in most of the thermal power plants. So it's a thermodynamic cycle that converts the heat into mechanical energy and which usually gets transformed into electricity by an electrical generation. So here you can see there are basically four main components in a plant. Those are the pump, the boiler, turbine and the condenser. Pump performs the operation of compression, compressing the working fluid at a high pressure, which is then allowed into the boiler. Boiler has a job of heating the liquid, heating the water to its boiling temperature and then converting it into vapors. So that is, there is a phase change occurring in the boiler, phase change from liquid to vapor. That vapors, which we call it as steam, are then allowed to flow through the turbine, that is through the blade. There they perform a job of rotation, that is moving the blades of the turbine. So that performs a mechanical work which is then converted into electricity by using the generator. So whichever steam that has done its work in the turbine is then now condensed by using the condenser, and which is again reutilized in the pump. So there we are reducing the loss of heat energy by using a condenser. So hence it gives you an overall efficiency, also a better efficiency. So basically a Rankine cycle follows the four processes. First one is the isentropic compression. Isentropic compression means when you are allowing the water to flow from pump to boiler, so we are actually increasing the pressure, but we are making sure that the entropy remains the constant when we are moving from the state 1 of pump to the boiler. So that is an isentropic compression. Then you have isobaric heat addition, that is in case of boiler, where we are heating water to its boiling temperature and then converting it into steam. So that is an isobaric heat addition. Isobaric means we are making sure that the pressure remains constant. So now this is an ideal condition, but we make sure that the pressure remains constant. Then in the third stage, when the steam moves from the boiler to the steam turbine, so there the isentropic expansion takes place in steam turbine, where the pressure falls down. But still again here also we are making sure that the entropy remains constant. So hence it is named as the isentropic expansion. Expansion in the turbine, and isentropic because we are making sure that the entropy remains constant. Then at the last stage in the condenser, we are reutilizing the heat energy out of that steam and again condensing it into the liquid state, which can be further reutilized in the boiler. So there we are having heat rejection process, but again it's an isobaric, means we are making sure that the pressure remains the constant. So these are the 4 steps that is going on in the Rankine cycle process. So if we redraw it onto the TS and PV diagram, so see here I have drawn TS. TS stands for the temperature versus entropy, T for temperature, S for entropy. So if we draw it, so we can see the 1, 2, 3, 4 denotes the stages of the Rankine cycle. 1 is the pump, 2 is the boiler, and then 3 is your turbine, and 4 is your condenser. So when we are moving from 1 to 2, that means we are moving water from from pump to the boiler. So we are gradually increasing the pressure. See here you can see in case of pressure versus volume diagram, the pressure is been gradually increased and hence also the temperature. Once it reaches to the boiler, we are making sure the isobaric heat addition process, right? So here we are making sure the pressure remains constant. So 2 to 3 we can see that pressure is nearly constant, but temperature is gradually increased. Initially it is taken to the boiling temperature, and then from boiling to it is converted into vapors, that is evaporated. So that is how it is drawn. And then from 3 to 4, 3 to 4 means the turbine to condensation. So here the expansion process starts. So at the point 3, your temperature goes on dropping and pressure also goes on gradually decreasing. So that's an isobaric expansion process. And then from 4 to 1, 4 to 1 denotes the condensation process. Whichever low pressure steam we have achieved at the outlet of the turbine is condensed using the condenser, and then it is again fed back to the boiler through the pump. So that's in 4 to 1. So see here you can see it's a closed loop process. So it's a thermodynamic cycle is a closed loop process, and it follows a clockwise cycle. So this is what is your heat pump cycles. Okay, so in Rankine cycle, the steam is expanded to the extreme 2. Here you can see the steam that is expanded from 3 to 4. 3 is an outlet of your turbine. So from 3 to 4, the steam is expanded, but see it is expanded till the toe of the 4. That means till the toe of its curve. That means it is completely expanded to its lower point. But ideally we can say that we can expand it to this point, but practically it is not feasible. It is found to be too uneconomical because the size of the cylinder is very large to expand steam to that full limit. So what is done? A small modification is been made that forms your modified Rankine cycle. So in case of modified Rankine cycle, see rest of the process remains the same. 1 to 2, you're moving into the from pump to the boiler, raising its temperature to the boiling point and then to the evaporation point. But here we are not allowing the steam from turbine which is getting expanded, we are not allowing it to expand to its full limit. We are interrupting the process in between. So see from 3 to 4 when it is going, it is not going to the full limit of its full maximum limit. We have interrupted the process in between at 4. That means it is not expanded to that limit, and there from that point only we have started the condensation process. So this is your modified Rankine cycle. So the toe of that curve has been removed. So that helps you to improve the efficiency of the Rankine cycle, because the size of the cylinder also gets reduced if we follow this, because if we allow the expansion to go up to its maximum limit, the size of the cylinder will get increased, right? So that for that reason we are, and that small toe of that curve does not perform that much amount of useful work. So we can have a compromise with that. So we can allow the process to be interrupted in between so that the size of the cylinder can be reduced, and hence the stroke length also gets reduced. So that forms an advantage, and that forms your modified Rankine cycle with a small modification. Then next you have a reheat cycle. Reheat cycle is basically an method in which we can increase the efficiency of the Rankine cycle. So what is done here? So when we are feeding water from pump to the boiler, in the boiler water gets heated up to its boiling temperature and then converted into vapors, or the steam is formed. That steam is allowed to go through the high pressure turbine, and whatever outlet you are receiving, that outlet is again fed to the boiler through the reheated tubes, and that is again converted into steam. That means the temperature is further increased. If you have dropped down the pressure and the temperature, that is again fed to the boiler, it is reheated again, and now since the pressure has been reduced but temperature you have increased, so that is allowed to go through the low pressure turbine, where again it performs some amount of work, and then finally it is condensed. So a stage is added in between the boiler and the turbine. Okay, so see, that is eventually depicted in the diagram. 1 to 2, pump to boiler, you are moving. 2 to 3, you are converting liquid to its boiling stage and then to its vapor stage. So here see, 3, what we are doing, from 3 we are providing it into the high pressure turbine, reheating it to at a certain higher temperature, and then allowing it to go through the low pressure turbine. So at point 5 we are allowing it to go through the low pressure turbine. So that is your point number 5, and then it is condensed. So here we are performing the operation of reheat. What it helps you, why we are doing with the reheat operation. So with the reheat operation you can see easily that the area under this curve has been increased. Also why this area has increased, because the amount of work done by the turbine has been increased. So eventually that gives you the increase in the efficiency. Obviously the amount of work done by the turbine is going to increase, so hence you will get the more amount of power generated at the outlet. So hence efficiency goes on increasing. So that is depicted in your TS and PV diagram. You can find it from 3 to 4, then 5 to 6. So see, 4 and 5, this stage has been increased in case of reheat cycle. This is one of the method with which you can improve the efficiency of the Rankine cycle. Obviously this will add up to the cost of this system, but with increase in that efficiency we can obviously bear the cost of that extra component in the plant. Okay, this was one of the cycle. Now coming to the next, this is a Carnot cycle. It is a basic thermodynamic cycle, or we call it as an ideal thermodynamic cycle. Carnot cycle has the highest efficiency, but ideally this cycle exists only ideally. We cannot implement this cycle in practical scenario. Why? Let's see. See this diagram. Here you can see the pressure 1 to 2, 3, 4. This again I won't explain it again, which it is easily understood. 1 denotes your pump, 2 denotes your boiler, 3 denotes the turbine, 4 denotes the condenser. So see, when you are moving from 1 to 2, we are moving water from pump to the boiler. So pressure is being increased because we are performing compression. So that is being increased gradually. But see here, when we are in TS diagram, temperature versus entropy, you can see when we are moving from 1 to 2, your temperature has been increased suddenly from 1 to 2. Practically this is not possible. Then again from 2 to 3, 2 to 3 is your boiler to turbine. That is the process. So see here, pressure is volume is gradually decreasing when moving from 2 to 3, but this 2 to 3, it denotes the isothermal process. See here, you can see at point 2 the temperature is same, at point 3 also temperature is same. So when we are heating water in the boiler and when we are moving it into the turbine, practically is it possible that there will be no loss of heat or there will be no loss of temperature? No, obviously no. Practically that scenario cannot be possible. So we call it as isothermal process, this 2 to 3. Isothermal means the temperature remains constant, which is practically not possible. So that's why Carnot cycle gives you the maximum efficiency, because it follows the ideal condition. Ideal condition of constant temperature when we are moving from 2 to 3, that is boiler to turbine, and when we are moving from 4 to 1, that is from condenser to boiler. These two conditions are followed as isothermal process, which is practically not possible, and 1 to 2 and 3 to 4 are isentropic conditions, okay, which is again practically not feasible. So hence the Carnot cycle, we always call it as an ideal cycle, which gives you the maximum efficiency, but practically we cannot implement that cycle in our system. So the cycle that we follow in practical scenario is your Rankine cycle, which gives you maximum efficiency with some modifications, or by having reheat cycle into the system. Okay, this was all about your thermodynamic cycles for the coal fired power plants. Okay, so I hope the concepts are clear to you all, how the plant works, how the cycle follows, and which are the parameters that is being changed to achieve the maximum efficiency. Okay, so that's all for the session. Thank you.